Let's just jump right in. Decades, making a video was one of the most complicated things you could do. You needed cameras and crews and studios, and of course, a ton of money. But what if you could just scrap all of that and boil it all down to a single line of text? Well, that's not sci-fi anymore. It's the new reality of AI video, and believe me, it is changing absolutely everything. And look, that might sound a little dramatic, but it's not. We are right at a massive turning point in creative history. The power to create these incredible, photorealistic videos from just a few words. It's opening up visual storytelling to everyone on a scale we've just never, ever seen before. The barrier to entry to make something that looks cinematic, it's basically gone. And this isn't just some niche tool for tech nerds. It is being adopted at a wild speed. Think about this. Projections show that by 2025, that's right around the corner, more than a third of all digital video made in the world will come from an AI. This isn't just a new feature, it's a total reshaping of the creative world. So, why is this conversation happening right now? Well, it's because this tech has escaped the lab and landed right in our laps at a speed that is, well, it's pretty breathtaking. This isn't some far-off future we're talking about. This is a revolution that's happening as we speak. What's just so striking here is how compressed the timeline is. Seriously, look at this. In about a year, we went from the very first mainstream model, Sora, to new versions that can generate their own sound, all the way to platforms that handle the whole shebang, from creation to editing. The pace of innovation is just incredible. It really does seem like magic, doesn't it? You type a sentence and poof, a video appears. But what is actually happening behind the scenes? Let's demystify the process a little bit, and I promise it's actually way more intuitive than you probably think. This analogy, it is perfect. It nails the core idea. The AI isn't drawing a video from a blank slate. Nope. It starts with pure digital static, like an old TV screen, for every single frame. Then, using your text prompt as its guide, it just carves away at that noise, bit by bit, until your video is revealed. So yeah, it's way more like excavating than it is like painting. Okay, so let's walk through it. First, you write your prompt. The AI then translates your words into a kind of mathematical concept it can work with, and it creates all that initial static. The real magic happens in that denoising step, where it refines hundreds of frames at the same time until your vision starts to emerge. This process is so critical for making sure that, say, a person in frame 1 looks exactly the same in frame 100. And that brings us to the single biggest technical challenge, temporal consistency. You could call it the holy grail of AI video. Making one great-looking image, that's gotten relatively easy. But making 240 great-looking images in a row for a 10-second clip where nothing flickers or changes shape, that is incredibly hard. Solving this is what's unlocked the amazing quality we're seeing right now. All right, so now that we've got a handle on how it works, who's actually making these tools? The field is getting pretty crowded, but a few big players have really risen to the top, and each one is kind of carving out its own unique niche. So you've got Sora, the one that kind of kicked things off for the mainstream, now getting amazing at realism and adding its own audio. Then there's Runway, which is really the favorite for filmmakers who want that fine-tuned creative control and love that it plugs right into Adobe. Kling is a real game changer with its all-in-one workflow, trying to be the only tool you need for longer videos. And of course, Google's Veo is just pushing the limits on pure quality. We're talking 4K resolution and super long scenes. The right tool, well, it really just depends on what you're trying to do. And this is where the human element comes roaring back in. The tech is super powerful, but it can't read your mind. The quality of the video you get out is 100% tied to the quality of the instructions you put in. So learning how to talk to the AI, how to write a great prompt, that's probably the most important skill in this new creative landscape. So what's the secret? Well, writing a video prompt is a totally different beast than writing one for a static image. You really have to start thinking like a film director. You're not just describing a scene, you have to describe motion and camera angles and style and the overall mood, all unfolding over time. This comparison says it all, right? A dog running on a beach is fine, it's vague. The AI has to guess all the details. But look at the advanced one. It specifies everything: the dog's breed and its emotion, the specific type of beach, the time of day, the exact camera movement, the lens effect, the cinematic style. When you leave nothing to chance, your result is going to be 10 times better. It's that simple. So here's a little formula to remember: subject, action, setting, camera, style, and mood. If you can remember to include details for each of these in your prompts, you're going to have so much more creative control. Think of it as your director's checklist for talking to an AI. Okay, let's zoom back out for a second. This isn't just about making cool-looking videos for fun. This tech is a massive disruptive force. It is completely changing the way people work and the economics of entire industries, from marketing all the way to big-budget filmmaking. And this cost chart, it is just jaw-dropping. A professionally made 30-second spot can easily run your $5,000, $10,000, or way more. With AI, you can make something that looks just as good for about the price of a coffee, or sometimes even for free. A 99% cost reduction, that doesn't just change the game, it creates a whole new one. And this is already happening. Marketers are testing dozens of different ad versions in a few hours instead of waiting weeks. Filmmakers are bringing their storyboards to life to pitch their vision. E-commerce shops are turning boring product photos into amazing videos at scale. The uses are super practical, and they are already giving people a huge leg up on the competition. But, and this is a really big but, with any technology this powerful, there is a dark side. The same tools that can unlock incredible creativity can also be used for some really bad stuff. We absolutely have to go into this with our eyes wide open and tackle these serious ethical questions head on. These numbers are, well, they're honestly alarming. The explosion in deepfake-related fraud is just off the charts, with these massive percentage increases year after year. This isn't some theoretical problem in the future, it's a very real danger, and it's growing fast. And we're not talking about small-time scams. This is a real story. A company lost $25 million because an employee was completely convinced they were on a video call with their own CFO. The deepfake was that good. It just shows you how high the stakes are and how important it is to be skeptical in this new world. Look, we all have a part to play in using this technology responsibly. It really comes down to a pretty simple checklist. Always label your AI content, always get consent, and absolutely do not impersonate or deceive people. These aren't just suggestions, they're the bare minimum for keeping trust in a world full of synthetic media. So after going through all of that, the tech, the tools, the creative side, and the very real risks, what's the big takeaway? Where does this all leave us? It all comes down to this one simple, incredibly powerful idea. For the first time in history, the most important tool for making a cinematic movie isn't a camera lens. It's a keyboard and your own imagination. The power to create has been put directly into your hands. This isn't just about a change in technology. It's a change in what's possible. The tools are here, they're easy to get, and they're becoming more powerful literally every single day. So the only question left is a personal one for you. With this kind of power right at your fingertips, what are you going to create? What stories will you tell?